You know how long I've been waiting for this?
Whoa, whoa. Oh my god! Wow!
Ooh, I'm about to make a name for myself. And any day we get to open up a large quantity of Pokemon cards is a great day. So we have Super Electric Breaker here. I've also heard it called Super Charged Breaker a good amount, but Google Translate tells me that it's Super Electric Breaker. And this is part 2 to Surging Sparks that will be coming out in English in just under a week from when this video comes out. So we did open up some Paradise Dragona, but today we're gonna open up the second half of Surging Sparks in some Super Electric Breaker. So let's get to it. And as always, thank you for being here. I'm excited to get into some of these cards today. I do think Paradise Dragona will be a little bit better than this set, but this one has some of the bigger hits with the Dragon, the Pikachu, that sort of thing. So I think overall, Paradise Dragona is a little bit more fun, but this one has some of the bigger potential hits. So we'll start with pack number 1. We'll see what we can get into. Wow. Man, a little bit of a struggle on pack number 1 opening it up. I was trying to go from the corner and open it that way, but I might just open them from the back from here on out just so I don't ruin the next one as well. Want to keep these cards in good condition. And we're starting out with a Chen Pao in the very first pack. I believe this one allows you to discard a stadium. Oh, and that's Pecharunt. I've seen Pecharunt all over the place as well. So some good playable cards to start out with in pack number 1. Do we try it one more time? Let's try it one more time and see if I can see. I don't want to like bend the cards. I guess that's one way we can do it. I don't know. I kind of like opening it from the back because I feel like I won't break things that way. And we've seen in some previous videos that in one of the first 2 packs we get an ace spec like right away, so we'll see if that happens again today. And it does not much in pack number 2. But yeah, a lot of good cards I'd like to hit today. Of course, the star of this entire set is Pikachu. Anytime you have the flagship Pokemon represented and a good competitive card, it's going to go crazy. So I think everyone's going to want that Pikachu card. But again, there's the Hydreigon in this set. There's plenty of EXs that will shake up the metagame. And we'll see what we can do from here. So I think this Walrein does something special. And I believe it has to do with the number 2 here. So I think if you use this first attack on your opponent's next turn, any Pokemon that have 2 or less energy can't attack. So that's pretty big in today's meta where you have like Sparkling Crystal and a lot of Pokemon that have 3 energy to start out that they need to attack and ways to kind of knock that down a little bit because it'll keep them from attacking. So there's a lot of Pokemon, you know, Raging Bolt only needs 2. A lot of Pokemon that would be blocked by Walrein. I don't know how easy it'll be to get that card into play, but if you're looking to get in the way a little bit, I think Walrein could be a good way to do that. Oh, here we go with Scovillain in our first EX of the video. And I think Scovillain, its attack kind of scales based on how much damage it has on itself. So I think it says, 70 damage for every damage counter that is applied to this, which means it can do a ton of damage, but you're really only going to get one option. So let me grab a sleeve here and sleeve it up. But yeah, so like for example, if you have 5 damage counters that you're putting on yourself, on your Scovillain, you can do 350 damage and take out just about anything, but then you're going to have 210 HP left. And that can be taken out by 3 energies on a Raging Bolt. We'll put this here in the back so we can see our hits. Or almost any other EX Pokemon these days can do 210 damage. Well, I guess not all of them, but a lot of them can. So you can use Scovillain. You might not get more than 1 attack out of it, so it could be something to keep in your back pocket in case you really need to get rid of something throughout the game and you're already running like a fire deck. But it's just, I don't know, I feel like that'll come into play some places, but won't be the most popular card in the world. Ooh, and then an Eternatus right afterwards. I love that art on Eternatus. Kind of like in the middle of a tornado or something there. So that's pretty cool. Not a bad holo to get. Hop into the next one here. But yeah, I think looking back on Paradise Dragona, that's where the best art rares sat. We should probably see about 3 of the art rares here today. And I rarely... I love this one. I think that's Railor, and just the kind of that angle I think is pretty funny. And then Rabska right behind it. So with Rabska, I thought it did something in the last move here. It's something like if your opponent has less than 3 cards remaining in their deck, it might do 200 damage or 200 more damage. So that's crazy. If you have your deck all the way down to the end, you can do 240 damage with just a single prizer. So there's a couple cards. I think Wo-Chen does something similar in this set where if you have a deck where you can like mill yourself down towards the end but not deck yourself out, to be able to do a bunch of damage for just a little bit of energy. But yeah, lots of interesting, sneaky cards like that in this set. So we'll go on to our next pack. We'll see Azelf here. That's my favorite of the Lake Trio. I think that's because of Pokemon Go. That was the only one that was available for me to get. And then one of these berries here. These are interesting. I think this one is the Steel type. So if you attach this to a Pokemon and it's attacked by a Steel type, it'll take 60 less damage. There's one for a different berry that does that for Dark as well. So I guess if the meta really has like a lean towards Dark and Steel Pokemon, maybe that'll come into play and you could take less damage from that. But we'll see how much those cards are used in this upcoming set. Ooh, and here we have Durant. So no big hits quite yet. We'll get another sleeve, but I think Durant will mill the top card from your opponent's deck if you put it from your hand onto the bench. So that can be part of a control deck or some kind of mill deck, or if you have some way to kind of like cycle your Durant, so have it, you know, come back into your hand with, I don't know, if Penny or someone does that and then use it over and over again. One card at a time isn't a ton, but I could still use it or see it being used in a deck like that. So I'm curious to see how that'll be used. It still does 120 damage as well, so it's not like it's a small, or I mean, it is kind of a small amount. So I don't know, could be something that some people use. There's a bunch of cards I'm trying to mill over in this deck to see. Ooh, Kecleon. I love that art. To see if they'll actually be used in the upcoming meta. Here's that berry that does, or takes 60 less damage when attached, and it gets attacked by Dark Pokemon. And then Miraidon here for another Future Box Pokemon, perhaps. But yeah, through the first couple of packs, we don't have a ton of hits. I would expect about 4 main hits in one of these Japanese boxes. So we'll have a secret rare in here somewhere, as well as our 3 art rares. So we'll just have to wait and see. Phoebus, that's actually a pretty cool art too. I like that one. Ooh, what's this guy's name? It starts with a C, I believe, and he's like the Blueberry Academy headmaster. Not my favorite. I've been playing through the DLC, so I haven't finished the second half yet, but he came across kind of weird to me. I think he forgets a lot of things. I don't know. Wasn't my favorite character in the game. He's always kind of like standing off to the side looking at you, so he's odd. I would rather not have his full art, if he has a full art in this set. I don't really remember. Yes, awesome. Here is the Hydreigon, and I'm going to want this in English. Oh, also Clemence something something. That's not a great card, but has a cool secret rare. But the Hydreigon here also mills some cards, so I think it'll do 200 damage. That's why I was thinking before that Durant did a lot of damage, but it was actually Hydreigon. So he'll mill 3 cards from your opponent's deck every time you attack and do 200 damage, which feels significant. I think this is a card that I'm going to want to try and use in English when Surging Sparks comes out, just because that seems like it has a big impact. Like, Dragapult does pretty well right now, doing 200 damage. I know it does 6 damage counters to the bench as well, or 6 damage to the bench. I don't remember which way it was. But yeah, having the ability to mill 3 cards could be significant if you're able to use this several times in a row and get rid of some things that your opponent really wants. So that one has a really cool special illustration rare. That's probably my top chase from the set, because that looks really good. But yeah, I can't wait to look for that card in English. I do wish it was a Dragon Pokemon, so you could use it as part of a Regidrago V-Star deck, although that deck won't be around for too much longer, but I think it would be a good addition to that if it was a Dragon Pokemon. All right, next we have Paldean Tauros, another Peturant. What does Peturant do? I want to say it has something to do with Pokemon Checkup, and oh yeah, it has the number 5 in here. So I think between Pokemon Checkup, if the opponent's Pokemon is poisoned, it does 5 damage counters, and I've seen that in a lot of like turn 2 donk decks. So like if someone starts with a 60 HP Pidgey or something like that, it gets poisoned, and in turn 1, you know, between Pokemon Checkup, it gets knocked out when you add those extra 5 damage counters to it. So that's pretty wild. I would be pretty upset if I lost between turn 1 or during turn 1 during Pokemon Checkup. So that's pretty rude. Okay, and we have the Alolan Dugtrio here, which is, I'll be honest, not a card I was really looking for. The background's kind of cool. I like the art style, but these just look ridiculous with the hair. Is it Alolan or is it Paldean? I thought it was from Alola, and that's why they have like the beachy vibe here. But yeah, that's a silly card, not the art that I was looking to collect, but hey, it's something. It's one of our art rares, so we'll take it. And we'll keep on going here. I don't know that the move does too much. I see it does 120 damage. Doesn't look like it would even cost an energy, so that's interesting. Hang on, I'm gonna look that up. Wow, okay, so I looked it up. If you need exactly 3 cards in your hand for that attack to do anything, again, it doesn't cost an energy, but that seems pretty useless. Oh, and here's our A spec. Here's the Discord server here for your headset. I believe this one, I forgot what it's called, but I'm pretty sure you take 2 cards from your, 2 supporter cards from your discard pile and put them back into your hand. So that could be significant. Instead of putting them back into your deck, you get them straight into your hand. So that's cool. I feel like every ace spec has a situation in which it can be used. So you kind of want to have all of them around just in case. I don't think it's the most impactful ace spec even in this set, but I think it's one that could be pretty helpful. I think there are a lot of other ways to get supporters back into your hand, but of course supporters are super impactful in this game, so who knows. Ooh, here's the Rotom, which is also pretty helpful, and not too much here. And keep on moving through our packs. So now we have hit our A spec, one of our art rares, 2 more art rares to go, and our secret rare. Of course, hoping for an SIR. Moving along through here, the Walrein one more time, and no. I also definitely expect Surging Sparks to be pretty hyped when it first comes out and then to die off pretty quickly. So I'm looking forward to picking up a lot more of this set early next year. Oh, let's go. What is this one? Azelf, Uxie, or Mesprit? I think this one's Mesprit. And it has just that really nice background. I think this one needs to go into my binder next to that Latios art rare that we got in the last video, because there's just the background like over the lake. Of course, it's the Lake Guardian trio, or one of the 3. So it makes sense to be over the lake. But yeah, that's awesome. I really like that one. It kind of blends in with the background that's pink. It is pink. So that's going to be my favorite hit of the video so far. Very cool on that one. Again, I didn't think moves on Mesprit were all that great, but the art I really like. Next pack here. Anything of excitement? Oh, what is this? Shellos or Gastrodon, I think. This one, I think, was like a mini Path to the Peak, which I love using abilities in this game. So any version of Path to the Peak is not my favorite. So I think if this is in play, any stage 2 Pokemon can't use their abilities. I might have that slightly off, but I see a number 2 here. So I think if this is in play, and it's only a stage 1, so it won't be too hard to get into play, but it'll shut off any stage 2 abilities, which I find to be a bummer. Any way they introduce Path to the Peak, and I get it, you're gonna have to have some balance in the game and make people work around things, so totally understand why, but I think that's gonna be in a lot of different metas here, just to shut off the stage 2 abilities. Well, Pokemon Court here, Misdreavus. On to the next. Was that Misdreavus or was that Flutterwing? I don't know. I get confused between the ancient and the future Pokemon versus just the regular versions that we're used to. But as we move our way through here, oh, here's a Koraidon that could probably jump into those ancient box decks. I believe that one lets you attack and it does 30 damage, and then how much more? Another 150 if you've attacked on the previous turn with an ancient Pokemon. So a 1 prizer doing 180 damage, if you can consistently keep an attack going, isn't bad. So I think that could, slot into those ancient box decks. Whoopsie. Sorry if there's a weird cut here, but my camera ran out of storage. So I don't know where that cut me off, but we're just gonna continue going on with what we have here. I think I might have been talking about Koraidon in the ancient box deck. So yeah, that Koraidon could slot into there and help out, but I don't think it's gonna be anything too insane. On to our next pack. Hopefully our secret rare is coming up soon. Would love to get some nice SIR here. Of course, that chance is pretty slim, but hey, we can always hope for it. Nothing. Here's the Wo-Chen. How much does this one do? This one does 120 extra damage. I think if you're down to 3, I'm covering it with my thumb here, but 120 extra damage if you're down to 3 cards left in your deck. So again, I'm curious to see what Pokemon has in mind for how you get down to that number of cards. I feel like I hopefully don't get down to that number of cards in most of the decks that I play. So there must be something where you're milling energy cards on yourself or something. Oh, here's the Vivillon, who I believe helps you evolve. So it's like Sleep Powder is that first move and will evolve several things on your bench. So you have plenty of ways to evolve or use sneaky attacks. There's just lots of fun abilities here in Super Electric Breaker. And the Palossand. Okay, yeah, Palossand is something that I feel like it's going to be one of those energy or damage manipulation decks, because I believe its second move here for 3 different types of energy will do 100 damage, or will leave, what is it, EX and something else Pokemon with like 100 HP left. Yeah, I can't remember exactly. It's like either stage 2 Pokemon or EX Pokemon or something like that. It leaves all of them with only 100 HP left, which is an interesting way. We'll put it in the back of the EX cards here. It's an interesting way to get damage on the board. So if you're using like a Monkey Dory and also like an Alakazam, there's another card in this deck that does 60 damage to everything with an ability. I can't think of what it is off the top of my head, but like if you're going to combine a bunch of those different damage manipulation cards, I could see it coming into play. But in like current decks set up in the meta, I don't see too much of it coming into hand or coming into play. Oh, we're down to our final 5 packs here. We should have once again our secret rare, so probably the best card we're going to see today is still coming up, as well as another art rare, which is hopefully something good. So let's see if we can get it. Rillor gets me every time. Oh, and this feel. Oh my gosh, that is adorable. Look at this. So he's rolling off the edge here. Not too much going on in that head of his, but he's just so cute. Oh, that's an amazing card. That's one of those ones that like you just love to have in a binder because it's going to make you smile whenever you come across it. But that's silly. I like that one. That's probably one of the better art rares for me. Not too menacing. Not much I'm going to see, of it in the game unless you're trying to get to Walrein. But that's just a cute card. I like that one, so that was a good hit. And now just looking for that final secret rare Skeleturge here. This card is useless. We need to just get rid of that one. I think that one can only be used. It's like, one of those cat toys it looks like, but it can only be used between on turn 1 if you're going second, I think, and it moves an energy from your opponent's active Pokemon to a bench Pokemon. So like, how often are you going to want to do that and they can just attach it again on their next play? It's not going to get too in the way. So yeah, that one could have just been left out of the bunch, but we have to deal with it instead. I don't think we'll see it too much anyways. Down to our final 2 packs to get our secret rare. You can't write it better than this, folks. Down to the wire to see what it's going to be. If it's a full art or an SIR. Oh, and it's going to be Clement's Big Idea or whatever it's called. But that's cool. This is a card that, again, I think it just takes 60 damage off. This is an SAR. Wow, okay, I didn't even realize this is an SIR. So that's pretty cool. Again, I would have loved to see the Hydreigon or the Pikachu or something like that, but again, this one's probably got to be worth something out there. Not going to be used in the game too much, but still, very cool card. I haven't come across Clement in the game yet. So I don't know if he's part of one of the DLCs or where he comes from, or if it's from a past game. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's why I just haven't played that game or something. But yeah, very cool. Didn't expect to get an SAR. We got one here today in our second to last pack. And looking it up for real, it's called Clement's Quick Wit, so not Big Idea or Max Keeble's Big Move or whatever I called it a second ago. But it's looking to be about a $14 card, so the least expensive of the SARs, but still cool to get one of those. I think someone out there heard that I don't love the trainer cards. I was saying, I'd rather get a Pokemon, so I got the Lacey in a previous video. I think when I opened up Stellar Crown, I got the Lacey in English, and then now I got Clement's Quick Wit, so I'm just only getting the trainer cards on my bigger hits now because I mentioned out loud that they weren't my favorite. So I think that's on me for mentioning that out loud, but I'll try to fix that in the future to get some Pokemon instead from here on out. But we will collect our hits in the back here to show off. So the EXs, we had Palossand, we had Scovillain, we had Durant, we got Hydreigon, and then for our Ace Specs, I didn't look up the name of this one still, but I'm just going to call it the Discord headset. We had our Doug Trio, our Alolan Doug Trio, we had our Mesprit, we had our Spheal, and we had our Clement's Quick Wit. So pretty cool. We did get an SIR, and just really excited to look for Surging Sparks coming out. So I do have a booster box on the way. We'll have that video posted as soon as I get it opened. Thanks again for watching. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you find yourself here often, and we'll see you in the next video.